This is a special edition of Behind the News, The Briefing. So, in Season 4, Episode 3, the title of that was Cat Williams is not responsible for this loud bang. FAA grounds the plane. And that's because it was in the heat of Cat Williams being all over the news, right? All over the internet, based on his explosive interview with Shannon Sharpe of Club Shay Shay. This has nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing.
In this special edition of the Behind the News, the Briefing podcast, micro-entrepreneurs can enhance their understanding of the importance of safety, compliance, crisis management, leadership, and innovation in their businesses. Now back to Alicia Marie in podcast land.
This was about the horrendous event that happened on January 5th, 2024, when Alaska Airlines, about 25 minutes after they took off, they lost a chunk of fuselage. So much has happened since then. There's so much information that has since then come out. This episode, though, it is to share with you the lessons, takeaways, teachable moments that I would like you to glean as a professional or a micro entrepreneur when you listen to the 60-second podcast here at Behind the News, The Briefing. So let's get into it a little bit more. When this occurred in season 4, episode 3, so make sure you go and you take a listen and get caught up. When we brought that to you, we brought it to your attention that the plane was in fact manufactured by Boeing and that the fuselage was done by a spin-off of Boeing. And that was very, very important bit of information for you to understand and to learn from. So this is literally like we're in an entrepreneur class, and that's what this episode of Behind the News, The Briefing, the special episode is about. So the problems that were presented in that episode, it talked about the incident involving the Alaska Airlines losing the fuselage midair, right? It raised serious safety concerns. I shared with you that FAA, that is the governing body, issued a statement to, indicate that potential regulatory and safety issues needed to be addressed. Then we presented to you that what they decided to do to remedy that to FAA, that they were going to ground 171 of these aircrafts, specifically the 737 MAX 9, all right? There are several editions of this plane, but this is the MAX 9 that was a part of this controversy. So we heard that as a problem that was presented. Need you to jump in whenever these podcast episodes are put out, because what is the purpose? We are here to make sure micro entrepreneurs know that they can operate at the level of a macro business, right? So we know this. All right. The solution that was presented in that specific episode was, just the grounding of the 171 aircraft, right? That's really what was proposed, but nothing specific to the entire issue because it was so brand new. But potential solutions might include the investigation and addressing the cause of the fuselage. We now know that they have done that, right? Improving safety protocols, collaborating with regulatory bodies. Well, now, fast forward, we know that that's what's happening. But at the time of this broadcast, the episode, season 4, episode 3, those were things that should be running through your minds as an entrepreneur, like what is going on here. So the possible solutions, of course, based on what was presented in that episode, was to implement rigorous safety checks and inspections. Well, let's see if Alaska Airlines is going to start doing that, and all the other airlines when they get these planes, when they buy the planes from whomever. It's not just about Boeing at this point. It's bigger than that. And of course, to collaborate with aviation authorities to ensure compliance with safety standard, that would be good. That's a good possible solution. You may say, well, that's already in place. Well, really? Did it work out? Well, it means that something else needs to be done. An additional thing needs to be added to this. And of course, possible solutions is to conduct a thorough investigation to identify the root cause and take corrective measures. Well, at the time of this special edition, we know that the FAA is so serious. They have moved from audit to inspection of what is happening with Boeing. Boeing has since then even had to go and share some thoughts, if you will. I want to call it that, to Congress. So, but at the time of season 4, episode 3, you would not have known what would have happened. But these are some of the things that should be running through your mind as the professional listening to our podcast. I think there was a teachable moment, one or two. The main one was the importance of crisis management in any industry, but more so the aviation industry, since this was about Alaska Airlines and airplane makers, and the significance of proactive safety measures and content monitoring. I have a question on that. I really do, because as I watch this unfold, I was wondering, did Alaska Airlines have any checks and balances that they do when they get these planes? And I don't know if that's if that's happening, and if it is, can you respond by the Q&A or just make some comments under this current episode, the special edition, and give us some more information, what you have found out about the airline industry, not just Alaska Airlines, the airline industry, as to how they interact with their plane makers. What measures do they have in place to check it, right? Of course, when we buy a brand new automotive, brand new, not a used one. A used one, to go get it checked by a mechanic. When you buy a brand new one, I'm not aware of anyone taking it to a mechanic to check it out, right? It's not the norm. But I wonder if in aviation, if they should have someone on staff. My gosh, there's so many lives at stake in one instant. I wonder if they have that on. So that would be important to find out, the significance of proactive safety measures and constant monitoring. Let's figure out if they have that in place before an accident occurs. And then lessons learned from that 1-minute podcast. Are you feeling it so far? Are you enjoying what we're doing in this special broadcast? Perhaps this is a time where I stop and pause and say, for leadership, to encourage you to be vigilant in whatever your dreams are, your purpose, your business. Success is subjective. It really is. And there's a book called Success is Subjective, Give Yourself a Check Mark, written by yours truly, Elisa Marie Fade, and it's found on Amazon. Go and grab that, because in it talks about how to view certain adversities and how to deal with things that come your way. So check that out. It would be very important for you to have at this time. Now let's get back to dissecting this particular episode, season 4, episode 3, which talks about the Boeing and what happened with Alaska Airlines. Lessons learned. The importance of continuous improvement in safety protocols, that should have been a lesson you learned from this episode. The need for quick and decisive actions in response to safety incidents. The impact of external events on the aviation industry. That was very important, because even though the podcast was 1 minute, all of those should have been gleaned from it. Now, if you're a micro entrepreneur, that's who I cater to, and I want you to operate and compete with macro businesses. You should have some key takeaways, which is the importance of robust crisis management plan. I know you're thinking, I don't have to have a crisis management plan right now. Or you're thinking, there is so much, I don't have time to write a plan. I'm too busy getting my product, get my product known and making monies. But you still should have a robust crisis management plan. And then the second thing is the significance of maintaining a strong focus on safety and compliance. So if you're not in the aviation industry, there's still safety protocols at your office with the chemicals, with not having things in the way. Make sure that the furniture is ergonomical. And even if you have a home office, it still matters. Even if it's just you, it's just me doing this podcast, you still have to have certain things in place. And those are key takeaways for micro entrepreneurs. Now, why is this story important? The incident has wide-ranging implications for the aviation industry and just business in general. So yes, it affects multiple airlines, especially when the FAA grounded 171, airplanes. It wasn't just Alaska. They only have, 65 to 70 of these planes. It wasn't that, right? You have United that's affected so many airlines were affected, but it's the overall why the story is important. All right. Again, the amount of the loss of lives, right? That's possible. No one got seriously injured on the January 5th event. I need you to know that January 5th, 2024, no one got seriously injured, but still potential was, oh my God. So, and it also, the other reason why this story is important is because it underscores the critical nature of safety in air travel. So that should be foremost on your mind, as well as to why it was so important for us to give you that news bite on Behind the News, the briefing. And then there's no way I'm going to do a podcast. There's no way I'm going to do a breakdown of anything business and not talk about leadership. I love that space. So, leaders in the aviation industry, they're going to have to navigate and address crisis promptly and transparently. They're just going to have to do that. It's important for any business, reputational management. It's just important for the transparency in something like this. And of course, the incident emphasizes the role of leadership in safety standards. I mean, quality control in terms of, manufacturing. No shortcuts can be done in these things. And so this is definitely one to watch, as I normally say. So, we're going to wrap up by saying the continuous improvement is the name of the game, right? So stay proactive, be decisive, and never compromise on safety. That's the key to soaring high in any industry. So my amazing Behind the News the briefing community, I'm so happy for you. Are you over there on our Patreon community as yet? Make sure you go there. Click in the show notes wherever it is you're listening to this podcast. The information is there, but it's patreons.com/Olisa Marie Fed. So don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and if you're feeling the vibes, go grab some merch. This is Olisa Marie Fed, and I'm signing off with a roar that echoes through the clouds. Stay safe, stay informed, keep roaring. Roar to soon.